Hi, everybody. So I have lit a candle because I kind of want this to be a little bit more sacred space. I had an experience just now. I was listening to somebody channel some ascended beings and so forth, and and then she was going to do this exercise, and I was like, I need to do this. And so she's like, come into your heart, bring your awareness to your heart, and then 30 centimeters above your head, and across your chest, and it just allow the space to expand and just feel it. And I've just been having such a powerful heart activation, and I would love to hear in the comments. Please let me know what's going on for you. Are you having some amazing experiences? I think that it's there for the taking. I really do. It feels so much more accessible to me to tap into our divinity. Well, anyway, while I was having this experience, hi, how are you? So, yeah, I know it's Dr. Sue because you're always, what's up? So, while I was having this kind of heart activation experience, I opened up my eyes and I looked at my Jesus picture, and I really should have made that the thumbnail, and I made it my dog wearing glasses instead because I couldn't find a picture of Jesus. So, anyway, I opened my eyes and I looked at Jesus, and there was just this piercing presence, this incredible awareness that he had of me. And I have a picture of myself on my altar right underneath him, of myself at like, I think I'm between 1 and 2 years old. And I just have this enormous smile. And I've put it on some of my thumbnails. And because I feel like that was my essence shining through before, before it got a little difficult. And one question that this guy asked this woman who was channeling Buddha and whoever, what advice can you give us for living through these difficult times? And she rephrased it as these wonderful times. And I just thought, all of this goodness is accessible. And we're just watching birth pangs. We're just watching a birth. And if you are witnessing a woman giving birth, you don't say, oh, this is such a difficult time. I'm sorry this is so hard for you. I mean, you can have compassion for the experience, but what's it about? It's about this new individual who's about to be born into the world with this tremendous overflowing joy. And then you forget all the birth pangs. And I really believe that we're in those birth pangs. So are we going to focus on how difficult the labor is? Well, sometimes you have to manage that. But the bigger picture, what is it? Okay, so why did I entitle this, like, who is this Jesus person and who are you? And I just had this really beautiful awareness while he was looking at me and kind of showing me myself. That's the whole thing about a guru, is that they can see you in your wholeness, your completeness, who you really are. And we're all on a journey to rediscover that. And for some reason, this is a great place to do it. Oh, okay. Conversation about the Five of Diamonds plate 68 when you have time. Okay, that's the United States, right? Yeah, I would love to do that. So that's the role of the guru, is just to show you who you are. And so I was like, gosh, so you just went through hell when you came here and it was so awful, and how nice of you. And he said, it was my delight. And then he showed me, I kind of got a feel for it, but I wasn't allowed to see it, that I did the same thing in some other solar system. And it wasn't as dark and heavy, but I played this role. And I'm saying this because if I can do it, anyone could do it. but I played this role. He was like, you did the same thing as me. You went down on the planet and um, instead of touching the third eye there, you touched the temples. And I would go around doing this because I wanted people to remember who they were. And there was just, he wanted to convey what a delight it was to be, to have that role, to be like, kind of like tag you're it, except everybody's it. And when you're it, every time you tag somebody, they're it too. I think that's it. I should retitle this Tag You're It. I am that. You are that. That is all there is. Little Deepak Chopra quote. Tattvam Asi. That's what that means. So, who is this Jesus person? I have such a very, very powerful kind of more mental egoic history. This is my human that says, cleave to Jesus. And all other religions, whatever, I just know this is the right one. And so there's a little fear involved in that. So if that comes through my speaking, please don't let that offend you. Just everybody, just be where you're at. Because I know other gurus. I mean, Yogananda and I were very tight for a while, and he came without all of the baggage that I had around Jesus. And since then, I've been able to shed a lot of my baggage around Jesus. Um, but yeah, we really do have okay, so I was reading this book. This is going to take me a minute to explain, but it's called The Wisdom Jesus by Cynthia Bourgeault, who's friends with Almas, this Ridwan school that I'm going to now. Kind of the whole Naropa, Shambhala, Enneagram, that whole scene. And she's talking about how the Greek Orthodox Church broke off and had a Sophia, or a wisdom centrism. This is the wisdom that Jesus brought. This is the way, walk ye in it. So there was a focus on following example. And the other branch, the Western branch, had much more of a hero worship. I mean, frankly, that's what it is, more of a Jesus centric. He's the one, we're not like him, he's special. And when he was looking at me this morning, there was just such a fusion of both of those truths, that the reason the name of Jesus is powerful is that you're calling on perfect alignment. I went through a phase in my life where I just named this thing perfect circle awareness. And I go there instantly. And I know my completeness. I know my divinity. I know my perfection. I know the union, just like it's transcendent knowing. And I think that's what Jesus is. And accepting him into your heart, all this Christian language that we have, aligning with him, connecting with him, there is this beautiful relational thing that happens. I guess I'm just saying it's so beautiful because it's the presence of another individual saying, I love you and I want to share this thing with you. I love you, I see you. And that heals all of our relationship stuff. We're relational beings. We come here as separate ego identities, and then we have all these connections with people. And that's why the Two of Hearts and the Ace of Clubs are fused. Because you can have the Ace of Clubs Buddhic awareness, perfect circle awareness, snap it into being, and it's all me-centered. I'm not depending on anything outside me to come to this understanding. And I think a lot of us have been really frustrated by the message, including the whole advertising world, that you're incomplete. There's something outside yourself that you need. But the Two of Hearts aspect of that binary pair is that that's a way that you can come to it as well. And to me, that is so, I gravitate towards that, probably because I'm a 7 of diamonds and the 2 of hearts is my Saturn card, but the Ace of clubs is my ascending Neptune. So it's like I'm going more towards that. That was a really strong evolution for me, was to come to an independence. This is dependent on me and my path and my journey. And I had to come to that because there was an over-reliance on Jesus through the Western branch of Christianity that was wasn't really serving me and my personality type and stuff. Maybe an 8 on the Enneagram needs to learn dependence and connection and intimacy with Jesus, and the 9 needs to learn independence. So whatever you are, whatever your path, these are just some thoughts. And I wanted to pop open that's kind of it, except I just had a sense that Jesus wanted to come through, like not with cards, but with like popping open what the Bible. The Bible is sitting here. I was like, what can I draw on? I'm actually writing a deck of cards called the Jesus cards. That's the working title of them, because I know they're probably out there, but I don't know of any decks that fuse Eastern and Western wisdom and really is connected to the words of Jesus, and that anchor that so many of us do have and have either never left or have come to afresh or anew, and just like, ooh, I love this. I love this Christianity thing. This works for me. And people who are really, grounded in that, and like me, might have a little bit of fear that, oh, I know this is the way, that's the reason I'm writing the cards is to just, it's like, yes, you're safe. Come in here. I know you're curious about Eastern wisdom. I know you're curious about all this other stuff. But anyway, okay, let's see. Ask a question. And if you're watching the replay, hit the pause, ask a question, and then here's the verse I'm going to read. I'm just hearing read verse 16. So I opened to Romans chapter 7, the believer united to Christ, the new husband, quote unquote. So it's talking about the law versus, it's like the ego mind says, do it right. But the spirit is a completely different system. So here's the verse. And I know this is going to sound weird. I'm just going to start at 14. We know that the law is spiritual, but I am unspiritual, sold as a slave to sin. I do not understand what I do, for what I want to do, I do not do. But what I hate, I do. And if I do what I do not want to do, I agree that the law is good. As it is no longer I myself who do it, but it is sin living in me. There's a Buddhist phrase, a Lojong saying, and there are 52 of them, and one of them is drive all blames into one. And basically it's the ego. Drive the blames into the ego is missing the mark. That's the word for sin. That's what sin is, the literal definition of it. Drive all blames into one. My sinful nature, I'm unable to do the things that a part of me knows is in alignment with truth. That's just that part of me that is caught in the illusion of separation, missing the mark. I know that nothing good lives in me that is in my sinful nature, for I have the desire to do what is good, but I cannot carry it out. So it's like that. I'm just seeing the ego kind of like an anchor. It's rock that you're dragging along. For what I do is not the good I want to do. No, the evil I do not want to do. This I keep doing. Now, if I do what I do not want to do, it is no longer I who do it, but it is sin living in me. It does. So I find this law at work. When I want to do good, evil is right there with me, blah, blah, blah. Who will rescue me from this body of death? Thanks be to God through Jesus Christ our Lord. So then I myself in my mind am a slave to God's law, abundance and sleep. Okay, so what came to me right there, through Jesus, what is coming through Jesus? And we've had this Jesus-centric thing, and people can get lost on that and lost in the hero worship and miss what he's saying. Why did he come? What's the purpose? What did he come to deliver us from the body of death, to get us out of that continually missing the mark, being stuck in ego and separation. So the deliverance, it's like, okay, what is it exactly? Who is this Yeshua? What is his role? What does he do? And that was kind of the question and answer that was coming to me as I was looking at him and as he was looking at me. It's like, oh, he's the doorway. He's the finger pointing at the moon, the beloved example. Thank you, thank you. And people who have a guru and really understand the guru relationship understand that incredible love, because it's gratitude. It's that relational thing. It's like, oh, you came to me out of love to show me the way. But the way is, in a sense, more important than the person delivering it. And it almost sounds heretical as I'm saying that, but it's not. It's, yeah, I'm seeing Jesus going like this, giving me a round of applause, because it's what we're being delivered to that is the point. And what's so amazing to me is that that consciousness is accessible to us all the time. I mean, theoretically. Yeah, so we're here on our journey and we're doing our due, and it's kind of hard sometimes, but see yourself as a walking ascended master. See yourself, take a minute and just imagine, wow, what if I played the role Jesus played on some other planet? What if I was the one that was it and I got to tag everybody? Now you're all it. What if that was you? And know that there is an aspect of yourself that is fully realized, fully one with everything. Nothing but love. And when you experience that transcendent love, the word love isn't big enough. I used to hear that in near-death experiences, but when I was at the Ridwan School a couple of weekends ago, and I had that massive heart expansion, transcendent experience, there was a oneness there that it was a flash, and it took me so long to explain it to my husband. And my guides are saying, just explain what happened. So the group, we had 9 people, and the teacher works with an individual. And when they're working with the individual, it's my dog. She sounds like a monkey. When the teacher's working with an individual, you're working with yourself. And so he told her to go into the center of her head, just the very center of her skull, and to sense what was there. So I did, and boom, I was off into my own experience, couldn't hear what was going on. And I saw, like, it was just really peaceful. And then there was this point of light at the center with Tesla lightning coming out of it. And I was just watching the beginning of Team Light and Rion and this big conference they just had. And he has this whole, like, this Thor beginning, and he overlays his own face on Thor. And then, like, they're battling in the dark and lightning's coming out of their weapons and they're killing the bad guys. And I'm like, that's it. That's it. Anyway, these Tesla sparks were coming out of the center of my head. And then he directed her down into her heart, I'm guessing, because that's where I went. And there was this massive explosion of energy. And I started to cry a little bit. Then he was done with her. I raised my hand. I had an experience. I began talking about it. And what I was explaining is that there was this moment where the head awareness and the heart awareness, it's like it was right there. I was observing it kind of in front of me. It just suddenly merged into one, and there was a non-locality of, there aren't words for it. It was like pure consciousness, pure bliss, pure, this ineffable. And it's like, when you've experienced it, you know it. And if you don't know it, the highest possible vibrational thing you can come with isn't enough to describe this. But anyway, I had this incredible flash. And then as he was working with me, my heart energy started to, oh yeah, this brings me to this. That's because I was being directed to share this other technique with you if you do have heart expansion and it's overwhelming. So as he was working with me, he's got something going on that he did with me several times. My heart began to expand even more, and I became overwhelmed. I wasn't even crying per se. I mean, I was, but there was just this can I handle this massive expansion that's happening in my heart? I'm overwhelmed. And that's just what I keep remembering myself saying. There's probably some things I don't remember because this was so transcendent. And then he said, now what's going on in your head? Or, what's in your heart? And I was like, the Tesla sparks have moved down into my heart. And at some point, I might understand in kind of a scientific, metaphysical. Oh, my dog was chewing on a penny. I might understand what was happening. But then he said, what's in your head? And I was like, it's just quiet, calm, indigo energy, spaciousness. And then as we were focusing on this overwhelm, he said, get to the edge of your seat so that your heels and your feet are on the daily dose. Okay, I'll finish this exercise and then I'll address your comment. Put your feet flat on the ground, earth, whatever, the floor, and then rock your knees toward and away from each other, just real gently. And he had me do this, and instantly I felt energy go down my shins into the floor. And I was instantly calm, and energy came down to my belly center and balanced it all out. And we'd been focusing on the belly center, and I think it's absolutely pivotal to balancing us out as light workers. And it's hard to feel. It's the hardest point to feel. But the more you just intend, you just sit and intend to feel it, it will come. It's like an acupuncture needle of awareness, and it just eventually this begins to talk. And it's transformed my experience, my day-to-day experience. I feel so much more present and grounded. I trust my instinctive nature. Okay, daily dose. But how do you help someone though I'm in trouble? How would you help? No point of all this if can't help anyone. Sorry, no point of all this if can't help anyone. It's your own internal experience, so no point of talking. This is a little confusing. There is a point in talking about it because it brings your awareness to it, and you begin to consider it, and you begin to, I mean, if you haven't had, and I'm guessing this is what you're talking about when I'm talking about this transcendent experience that's ineffable. It's a frustrating thing because you want to communicate it, but sometimes there is a transmission effect where when you're in the energy of someone talking about something, suddenly you feel what they're talking about. And also it can, I mean, I've been listening to near-death experiences and reading about them since I was 24 for like over half of my life, and it's caused a hunger and a thirst. You got to help yourself. All that won't help in trouble times. Sorry, miss, you're cool, but not help. I'm picking up that you're wanting me to do something for you that you have to do for yourself. Just telling you what I'm getting there. And whatever process you're going through, whatever's going on as a result of this interaction it's perfect. It's part of your path, it's part of my path. And I'm just kind of recognizing that in this moment. Yeah. And you're going to be okay. I'm getting the message for you is to affirm that your path is perfect as it is. Even the frustration, the difficulty, the feeling of disconnect, whatever you're going through, even if you're really pissed at me right now, go into the heart of that and what it's about. I kind of feel like you're a troll because that's just not true. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know that that's just. So anyway, I'm going to end the stream now. But thank you for being with me. This is my platform to just put out there whatever I feel like is on my heart, and I'm not trying to get more followers. I'm not trying to whatever boost my subscribers. It's this is an outlet for me, and sometimes some really wonderful conversations happen. as a result. So peace out. God bless, and bless you. Daily dose in one sentence. Go to your heart. Feel your heart.